Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tracy Takes On. I'm Tracy. I'm joined tonight by Theus, and we're going to get started. I got so much to discuss, I actually wrote things down because I didn't want to forget anything. But before I start, I want to invite everybody who's watching this to remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and of course support us on Patreon. And I'm trying to get my little self ready here, so it'll be just a second here, everybody. I just want to make sure I'm doing one little thing right because sometimes I don't do what I need to do. So hold on just a moment, everybody. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is Whoopi Goldberg being suspended. I heard the comments, and I don't want anybody in the audience to come after me. I don't understand why she got suspended. Because I've heard Meghan McCain say things that are way worse than what Whoopi said.
You want my response on that?
Yeah, I was like, well, yeah.
First, I wish as a community that we ignored this one and let it go. Because it's just one more time where we're pointing out the obvious that intent doesn't matter. Nuance doesn't matter. It's how can we generate an outrage or an offense from anything and then weaponize it. So there's only two ways I would say we process this. One, understand that certain topics about certain groups are not open to discussion. Like, no matter how much they should be discussed, it's just not safe to discuss. So just understand that that's the landscape that we're in, because it doesn't matter what she was actually saying. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
All that matters was someone for whom, or someone who identifies with that community, either was offended or felt like it was an opportunity to reinforce the importance of never speaking negatively or drawing any form of a comparison into this community, especially in a time where they feel like they're already under attack. See, to me, so that's one. But that leads me to number two, which is if we are going to engage with it at all, we need to take notes. Like, they'll never treat the Black community the same way that they treat the Jewish community. That's not going to happen for a host of reasons that I think most of us are well aware of. But look at how disciplined and coordinated and cohesive the response always is.
that was a great
There's not a Jewish rabbi, public speaker, public personality anywhere that's coming out to, well, maybe that's not what she meant, and that's not happening. But when it's our community under attack or siege, there's always what do you call it, an apologist? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Like, the person come in, they'd be like, oh, let me put on my tap dancing shoes. I can make this where they didn't mean it quite that way. So
yeah.
either we learn from it or ignore it.
But Whoopi is not center left. She definitely, in my opinion, she is not. And the show, it's called The View. The premise of the show, I thought, was to get different viewpoints on issues. Again, I heard the statement she made, and I'm like, okay, I'm not getting why she was suspended. And maybe because I'm not in that community, I don't understand it.
No, she got suspended because it's just not allowed. You know what I mean? Like, someone has to be made an example of. And they won't touch certain people, or they can't find a way to. right? Like the Nazi rallies that's been going on lately, where they've just been attacking people for being Jewish or appearing to be Jewish. Those people don't have a lot of social credit. So there's not a lot they can do to them, right? For them, it's all free speech. But here we have an older black woman who's had a full career and has a Jewish last name,
Well, stage name.
stage name, but you have all of this going on. She's still a public figure. We can get her. So they didn't go to destroy her career. They just wanted to once again humble the black person. So that's what happened. And so like people have been saying she should fight back and she should do this, she should do that. And I'm like, I'm sitting in the spectator stands. I can't tell her who's on the field how she needs to play the game. Because if she tries to fight back, it's a guaranteed loss.
Yep.
And they will destroy everything she's worked for. So
Yep. And I'll tell you what, one subject I knew I wasn't going to bring up was the bomb threats that were against HBCUs because I knew I was going to get angry. So
why bring them up? The media ain't doing it.
Because I knew what my anger is. I knew what my anger level was when I heard it. So I'm like, you know what? I need to stay away from that subject for my own sanity.
Well, I think it's an important subject. And,
it is. It's a very different, important subject.
And for me, I didn't even get angry because I have been screaming this from the rafters for the last 5 to 8 years. This is where we're headed. And there was a time in the recent history, which is around the Birmingham. Remember when they had the Birmingham church bombing that killed those children? That wasn't the only church that was bombed. Nope. It was what was happening in Birmingham. They were bombing our churches consistently throughout the state of Alabama. So we are just looking at a new front of the same war. The problem is, sorry, this isn't a black exclusive audience, but the problem is one side knows it's at war. That's the problem. The other side just wants to pretend it's something else. And that's
this isn't folk, something else.
That's our allies. Everybody doesn't want this to be what it really is because we want so desperately for this to be something from our history and not something in our present. We don't want this fight. We don't want to have to get our hands dirty. We don't want to watch our friends and our allies die and get sent to prison just for resisting a direct attack on someone's humanity. So instead, we try to pretend it's not real.
Yep. See, that's why I didn't discuss it because I knew I was going to go to 10 just straight off. I know we go. I'll talk about it, but I'm going to have to cool myself down a whole lot because I feel like, you know what, we done dropped the ball somewhere.
Dropped the ball all the way. But watch how these two play together, though. We entered into the discussion talking about Whoopi Goldberg and the Jewish community, right? Now, historically, we have issues, right? Our communities have issues, but all the way through the civil rights movement, guess what community was instrumental in helping us? The Jewish community. Every time that there is racial strife of high temperature in America, they attack the black people, they attack the Jewish people, and America just has a horrible history of just ignoring the indigenous people. But look at what's happening. The right is attacking the Jewish community and the black community simultaneously. But instead of us rallying together, we watched what happened with Whoopi, and we're drawing lines against each other. Makes zero sense. None.
Well, yeah, that's true. She did go.
How is
Yes.
she not? I don't know. I don't know what the definition of a leftist is.
Well,
So what
yeah.
is it that she's not upholding on the left? I don't know. She's an older
Well,
black woman
I
than me, so I
know
don't know.
she lost me when she said rape is not necessarily rape. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm done. You don't
That's
have
not
to
a
say
left
no.
right issue. That's not a left
No,
right thing.
that's just ignorant to say. I'm like, okay, I have nothing. I have no reason to listen to you.
Now, would you say within that, because that's a sound bite of something she said. It's not the fullness of who
Oh
she
no,
is. No,
yeah,
it's not the fullness of who she is. How is that different than what we're dealing with right now?
it's not different. Not to
So
me,
now we
because
understand why she
yeah,
got suspended.
yeah, because her whole clip. If he was gonna suspend her for something, it should have been that. I'm like, did she just say rape isn't necessary? No, rape is rape. That's pretty much the
But see,
definition.
that's just it. If you want to go into that conversation, rape is not just rape. Rape has comes in so many different forms. That's one of the reasons we have so many issues in getting women in the men who are affected justice. Because there's date rape, there's drugged rape,
Well,
there's
yeah,
forcible rape, there's rape by manipulation, there's rape by doctor doing things, there's so there's so many ways that violation of your body can come to be, right? So if we want to have that discussion, then have that discussion, and that would be where she would be going with that, right? But depending upon our background and what we've been exposed to or what beliefs we hold, certain things done, right?
yep.
Done.
And I think she also got suspended because she defended Bill Cosby. Now, I'm not going to. Y'all know what I think about. Y'all already know what I think. I'm not going to go over that, but I think that was
Same
part.
thing.
Yep.
People are not allowed to be more than a character that we've decided that we've made them in our
Yep.
mind. And the moment we find out that our character that we created for that person is more evolved than we're
Yep.
comfortable with, then we want to punish them, even though we ourselves are every bit as complicated, but we don't want to be punished.
She didn't move to the center. She moved straight to the right.
How is she on the right? I don't know. So
Yeah, because she's
please
spoken
eliminate.
against. She used to be for an issue, close to my heart, single payer health care. All of a sudden now, it's every dumb argument I've ever heard against single payer health care. You'll lose your doctor. False. It'll cost more
That's
money.
not a false
False.
statement. It's not a false statement. It's just not accurate.
Then that makes it false.
Not necessarily. For example, American Care Act, right? Obama made the mistake, and it's like of all the things to call a mistake, but whatever. He made a mistake of saying that you get to keep your doctor. But it's so much deeper than that because that's not up to you.
Okay. And now,
Doctors can opt in and out of plans whenever they choose.
yep. Now, see, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna add. Marlon is in the house.
Marlon, what's good, sir?
So
You got a
sorry,
buzz, sir.
I got a what?
A buzz.
Yeah, there was a light buzz there.
Yeah, there's a buzz because it wasn't on ours; it was on you.
Hmm.
But to me, that's probably why she got suspended. Again, that's my theory. Y'all know what I think about Cosby. I'm not gonna go into it because that's
I
not
get
the
it.
time.
But I'm
Or
gonna make the
place.
same argument I made when it was Felicia Rashad, right? A lot of us came to Felicia's defense because how much we love her, right? But she doesn't. But Whoopi doesn't, for whatever reason, Whoopi doesn't get the same level of love. I don't know. Maybe because Felicia Rashad was the Cosby mom, and she's Michelle Obama, the character. You know what I mean? Like, there's this level of love that she gets, whereas Whoopi was a dark comic and married a white man and all this other stuff that they want to do about Whoopi. So she doesn't get the same level of love, even though she's extremely accomplished. The thing that stuck with me on the Cosby thing is we are only looking at it from the standpoint of an alleged perpetrator and an alleged crime, right? But think if that was your family member. As bad as the crime was, you still see that person in more dimensions. And for whatever reason, we won't allow people to individually do that. Right? You can hate the sin and love the sinner. Remember that kind of talk, right? But we won't allow that for a public figure. We only allow that for our cousin and our uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So
but he should still be in jail. But they
he's
use the
out.
system. But they use the system
He's out.
to beat the system.
And all
So
of a
now he's
sudden
out. Leave him
he
alone.
got his sight back. He was able to get, see, I said I was gonna be quiet. I said I was gonna be quiet. I said I was gonna be
I'm just
quiet.
saying, but like that's the other thing. Like, look at this is a weird transition, and I don't know if you're gonna touch on this later, but like the whole Russia thing, right? We have watched how CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, you name your network, we've watched how they distort things when they're talking about our community and they're talking about public events and they're talking about everything. We've watched how the US government has manipulated other countries and other areas. I mean, Libya, Iraq, anybody? Come on. Um, but because on the opposite side is the big bad Russia, everybody closes ranks and all of a sudden we can just believe what they tell us. So
Yeah.
it's
like you gonna really trust the government? Really?
it's like, so if you don't trust them, then why aren't you still skeptical on the other side? If you don't trust the courts to get it right when it's our children or whomever being attacked, how is it all of a sudden because the court said this person's guilty, then that's right? You know, it's the whole thing.
Yep.
Marlon changed.
Marlon that went away, but
became a lady.
So I did want to move on to the next subject because I want to trying to keep this as brief as I can. And I wanted Marlon's thoughts on this too because he just kind of disappeared. So we all know that.
I'm sorry, y'all said that it was a buzz, and I'm trying to fix it. So
it's a low buzz, man.
It's low, but yeah, I can hear it. Okay, so Joe Biden has decided to keep one of his campaign promises to elect a black female as a Supreme Court justice. There's two ways I want to look at this. One, some of his picks that are highly problematic.
Mm-hmm.
And second, all of a sudden, the Republicans are all like, where did this kumbaya stuff come from? I must have missed something because the last time.
What kumbaya stuff?
Lindsey,
they're calling everybody he picks an affirmative action candidate.
No, not every Republican is calling this
a grand account. She represents his state. She represents corporate interests, so that's why he's. Yeah.
There's one candidate. Her decisions are so bad. Half of her decisions have been overturned by the higher courts.
Well, that doesn't always mean that they're bad, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah, that's
pretty.
Because I don't have any trust.
Pretty.
Oh yes, and I do mean Lindsey Graham. He was all. I can't remember which one he was talking about.
He's talking about
okay.
It's two different. It's two different South Carolina.
I mean, there's 11 women being considered.
It's two different things.
But I can't think of the one that Lindsey Graham was talking about.
It don't matter. It was from Lindsey. Who cares?
Exactly.
The point is, I mean, really, if it was Lindsey that was talking, after a certain point, you just okay. Lindsey right now is trying to separate himself from Trump.
No, he's not.
He's not.
Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is.
I disagree with that.
Let me finish.
I'll let you finish, but I'm totally in disagreement with this one.
Him and a lot of people are separating themselves not only from Trump, but people who are like Trump. That's the only reason why Lindsey said what he said. Once again, we got to keep in mind Lindsey ain't a good person. He's saying the opposite of everything that he's just trying to separate himself from the rest of the Trumpists. When it comes to picking a female black Supreme Court justice, it's still going to boil down to who it is, aka Kristen Sinema. You could be a certain person in a certain way in a certain style. But if your interests still align with conservative,
You
there you
being
go.
like Flint.
Yeah, you're in like Flynn. Hey, I said I was gonna get you a black female. I didn't say I was gonna get you a progressive black female. I didn't say I was gonna get you a liberal thinking black female. I just said I'm gonna get you a black female, and I got you a black female. You
Yep,
could
I
also
did
wind
what
up
I
having
said.
another. Yeah, you could
I
also
did
have another
Okay.
exactly what I
Thomas
was
up
gonna
there.
say.
Yeah.
So can we unwind that a little bit?
Okay.
Because I'm not, I don't know, I'm for everybody black. So um my thing with it right now is we need to have another justice on the court. It's about time that we have a black woman. These are all, regardless of how you feel about any of the ones that he's brought up, they're all well qualified, especially compared to who they got on there. Okay. um,
No, yeah, that's true.
so I'm getting lost is what did people expect from who's in there? I mean, it's like we keep moving the goalposts.
No,
Joe Biden is the president.
okay, I'm gonna have to
We keep
slightly.
acting
Okay,
like he's supposed to be a progressive president, and he wasn't. We keep acting like he wasn't supposed to be a corporate Democrat, and he is. We keep acting like he's gonna put Stacey Abrams on the Supreme Court, which he's not. It's like I'm drinking crazy juice. I'm like, where are people getting these weird expectations?
no, okay. So let me try to answer your question. Oh, hey, Susan.
Hey, Susan.
You
Hey,
gonna have to say
Susan.
who is
Katanji.
Kanji. Thank you, God. Like I don't know who that is, so you can explain. So here's the thing that I will say. Yes, you were absolutely right. I did not expect anything from Joe Biden. I thought for sure this was going to be another one of his campaign promises he wasn't going to keep. I was pretty sure of it, but it looks like he's going to try to keep it. I think what's infuriating us on the left is just because, oh, I'll say it this way, all skin folk ain't kin folk. Just because you have someone black doesn't mean they're going to side on the rights of the people in the labor movement, i.e., Clarence Thomas. They're going to side on the rights of women to have control over their own bodies, i.e., Clarence Thomas. So just because you get someone black, it's like you've said, uh, um, okay, I did this. Now I'm just going to get somebody that's anti-labor, maybe pro-choice, but not really too extreme. Like she's going to.
But still,
I just feel like you're gonna make if you don't you're gonna wind up having a female Clarence Thomas.
Yep,
that's
that's
not
exact.
none of
Yep.
them, as far as what I've read or seen, none of them is a Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas is the most reprehensible version of a black person that we've all known. He's a Tim Scott.
Oh no, he's
He's
worse than Tim. He's way worse than Tim.
what okay, but it still comes all right. I guess where I keep
I know what
getting
you said.
You
lost.
would think we know what you're saying,
I
but
know
we
what you're
want you to
saying,
say it.
Thea. I know what you're saying, Thea.
Because I don't want
It's
to put
like
words in your mouth.
unrealistic expectations given what the situation is. I mean, like, he's not nominating a Clarence Thomas. We're just saying that because it's the most effective way to gut punch somebody who's arguably well qualified to go on the court. And they haven't even been nominated yet. We are sitting here on the black side attacking black women who ain't even
See,
got nominated yet.
so you're
I'm
saying
Who's
to
like,
it
give them
on
a
track?
pass because they're black?
no, when you compare, no, I didn't say give them a pass.
Oh no, no,
I'm saying you're attacking them before they even get nominated. I mean, we
I
don't
was
even know who the nominee
I
is.
was saying I don't. I want them to do due diligence and make sure that these qualified people, because they're qualified to be on the Supreme Court. I get that, but what are their ideas? I
I
just
agree
don't
with you
want them
there.
to look at it as, hey, I kept the promise to you. I got a black
And
female.
get rest assured,
But
that's what Biden is going to campaign on. I kept my promise.
Yeah, but that's cool because most black folk already know. Like you having a problem right now, Democratic Party, with even keeping black people engaged, period, and putting one on the Supreme Court, which is where I would love for us to focus more on just like simple math. Like we getting into personalities and comparing them to, that guy. Um, I wish he would. Whatever reason he need to retire, I wish he would retire. But we're doing these weird comparisons, but at the end of the day, it's still 9 justices on the court. You took off one liberal and you put another liberal in. You didn't get anything. We're in the same place, folks.
Yeah, and I agree. And another thing that Biden won't do, which I think is a great idea, is to pack the courts.
Well, language, and that's why he won't do it, because he's not our guy.
Yeah,
if I'm like our guy, then he would expand the court.
Yeah, you expect that's the most. You're giving the most common sense answer. You take what you got 9. 6 of them are just conservatives. You never gonna change them. They are what they are. So you put on 3 more or 4 more or whatever that number takes. You only need 50 to get us. You don't even need a super majority.
But those 50 are the same 50 who won't protect your right to vote.
Yeah, now that's the scary
part.
That
women can go back to work so their children can have a good daycare. Who won't make sure that poor people don't starve. This is the same 50.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm like, I don't know how we get around that, because I know
like
packing the court is
about the filibuster. I'm like, the filibuster is not our problem. All right, the filibuster is easy for us to focus on, but that's not our problem. Get rid of the filibuster. Get rid of it tomorrow. You still can't pass nothing.
Yeah, but I'm just like, because there's no real easy answer. Because if you had a nominee that was qualified, I'd be like, look at here, Joe Manchin. What you gonna do is you gonna vote for this person, or I'm gonna make it real hard for you.
There's nothing they can do to Manchin short of it. Now, okay,
take them off committees.
Maybe there's other things they can do, because they could definitely support a primary. But the moment they do that, he'll flip parties and give the gavel to McConnell just out of spite, because that's the kind of guy he is. So I get the position that they're in. I'm just not going to give them a pass for it, because that's still your boy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, put up with him.
All the Republicans against me, and you. So you can't tell me, well, we would do more for the working class people of America if not for Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. Oh, darn it, consarn it, gosh golly, gee whiz. Them your boys.
Exactly. So, guys, we're going to move on to our next subject. And this one hurts, but I know it exists because I'm a huge football fan. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of the NFL, watch it all the time. Brian Flores, the used-to-be coach of the Miami Dolphins. That's a team in the NFL, everybody who doesn't know. So he was fired from the Miami Dolphins after winning 7 games in a row. And no one could understand why it is they did it. They lost their first 7, then they won 7 in a row, and then lost a game that would have put them into the playoffs. Come to find out that the Rooney Rule is that every time there's a head coaching position or a coaching position available, you must interview a person of color, i.e. black. Well, it turns out that Denver Broncos just brought him in, allegedly, to interview for the job, knowing good and well they were not going to hire him. A second thing we came to find out is that the Miami Dolphins decided before he was fired to pay him $100,000 to throw games. And maybe that's why he got fired. I want to know, Marley, your thoughts on this one, because I'm having a hard time with this. This is like, come on, y'all, we don't need this.
Okay, so here we go. Flores got fired from Miami Dolphins. Had an interview with a drunk.
I forgot the drunk part.
Allegedly.
He said he wasn't drunk. But
Okay, what else is he gonna say?
yeah, I showed
What else
up.
is he gonna say?
I
Yeah,
was high as a kite.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was just sleepy. Come on. He had an interview with the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos already had their man. Had an interview with the Giants. Um, the Giants also had an interview, and I can't remember the guy's name. Forgive me. Um, offensive coordinator for,
The 49ers.
was it the 49ers?
Yeah, but he's not a person of color.
No, no, no. Had an interview with him. Bill Belichick,
The other guy's name was Brian, just so you know.
yeah, Brian, thank you. That comes
I don't remember
important.
his last name, but it's Brian. Yeah.
But the Brian is the most important part. I thank you, Thea. Bill Belichick accidentally text Flores and said, "Congratulations, Brian, the other person's last name, on getting the job with the Giants." Mind you, Flores had one interview. This guy was on his second. So what it's looking like was the Rudy rule is coming out sound like the token rule, i.e., I am going to hire who I was going to hire anyway. I'm just bringing you in just to fill this quota of this. Flores is now suing the NFL.
Yep.
Um, it's a whole bunch of stuff in there. It's a 174-page document. I'll try to get my hands on it and read it. I ain't making no promises because it's 174 pages
Yeah, it's like, I got other stuff to do. But
do.
I'm gonna try.
But the deal is, so it's a lot of moving parts. Bill Belichick, and it came up today because I was trying to figure out why would Bill Belichick do that? Because he's going to say, "Oops, I text the wrong Brian,"
Which I believe is what he did.
or
He did it intentionally.
he did it intentionally
I don't think
because
he did it intentionally.
here's the issue I have with that deal. Bill Belichick ain't never done absolutely anything accidental.
Sure
Yeah, he
have.
has.
Bill
He almost got caught with Deflategate. He definitely got caught with spying on other people's calls and
That was on purpose,
sending.
though. He just
well,
got.
But he didn't mean to get caught. And every time recently, now, okay, I'm sorry because I don't want to hijack this, Marlon. Give it right back to you, brother.
Go ahead.
Because full disclosure, I don't like the NFL. I don't understand why black people still support the NFL. I understand why black athletes still play in the NFL. But after someone calls you the N-word multiple times, whether they use the word or not, that's what they're calling you. And you still want to flock to them and give them your money and all that stuff. So I don't get that anyway. But everybody has their source of entertainment, so cool, do your thing. Now, that being said, I don't even care. I hope he wins. I hope he wins because he's not alone. He's not the only one bringing a light to this.
Yeah, this is a class action, by the way.
Everybody.
Yeah,
but my thing is, it's the NFL. This is the same league that has over 70% of its players black, but they don't have any black ownership. It's the same league that any given time you may have 5 or 6 coaches. I think right now they have 1. Okay, this is the same league that shut down Colin Kaepernick and other athletes and punished them and had the president come out and call them SOBs. It's the same league that basically spit on our children dying in the streets and told us to shut up and just take it and go play ball. It's the same league. So what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? What did you expect? But now that the light got put on it, cool. Run them pockets. I hope he gets a great settlement. Nothing ultimately is going to change from what my viewpoint is. I know Dr. Mack has a whole different view. That was a whole thing. But
who it was.
But anyway, it's like how you keep acting like you so offended by something you expected. And
here's the only thing that I am offended by, and it could be the NFL. It's NFL. It's life in general. We've been through this before. Football, civil life, society. As long as things are going good, even in the background is going bad, we're cool with it. When something gets really, really heated, we'll make a big stick about it. Rightfully so. But then again, I can also say rightfully so a long time ago too. But that's neither here nor there. Let's stick to right now. So this situation will come up. Um, this situation will get settled, however way it's going to get settled, and we're guaranteed we're going to go right back to square one because that's what we do. We pushed it. This is a lot. I've heard somebody they're pushing the envelope. Yeah, we've pushed the envelope a lot, and it gets right back put right back on the shelf where it belongs because that's what we do. We no matter how much we get angry, frustrated, irritated, aggravated, pissed off, angry, the whole kit and caboodle. People do not want to be uncomfortable. We will go through an uncomfortable period, but to literally be uncomfortable look at the virus. Oh my God, I don't want to wear a mask. It's like you tie my hands behind my back. I have not stopped doing absolutely everything that I've been doing before the virus started. Nothing. I still work. I still get in the van and go to work. Nothing changed, but you're uncomfortable. So we have to take it to uncomfortable, Holocaust, Jewish concentration camp. We always got to push the button. As soon as this is over with, whenever the virus is over with, we're right back to square one. The same racism, the same sexism, the same homophobic, the same xenophobic, the same brushing everything. Hey, they're working on it now by erasing your history. We'll go right back to square one until another black person gets caught on tape being murdered by the cop, and the tape is so well done and so many witnesses out there watching it that we'll get into an uproar again and we'll play this over and over and over again.
Which comes back to the organization. And can you learn how to not just be offended and learn how to stay mad? And right
I would
now,
rather you stay
what
mad.
exactly?
Yeah.
Because what our community, and I'm not speaking about other communities because they have their own issues that they work through as well, but I do know ours, and we have allowed ourselves to be typecast as ones who will complain but not sustain.
I-
So you hurt my feelings, you scared me, that was outrageous. I am now going to cry, complain, and make some noise. Now, how do you deal with a child who is making a lot of noise? You give them a treat, you put them in timeout, right? But you don't actually
but there's
change anything.
we have hip hop month now.
Yep.
We got
Oh, and
hip hop
Juneteenth.
month. It we got remember we got all these little token things like
That we never
we're
asked
talking
for.
about the Supreme Court thing. We had Kamala Harris put in there. We had Barack Obama put in there. We You see what I'm saying? So it's like okay. Take this little thing, go
Be
down.
happy with it. Shut
Oh,
up.
wait a minute. This is bad. This is really bad. We're still going to make sure that we take the billions of dollars that we have, a significant portion of which you helped us get, and we're going to bury this black man and everybody who stands up with him under a mountain of paperwork and make him go away. And then next season, what we're going to do, just so we can show that he was wrong, we're going to hire four more black court
Coaches.
coaches. We may even throw you one GM. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the ones that we chose, though, weren't the best qualified for the role. So when they ultimately fall apart and fail, we can say, see, look, we did your little quota thing and it didn't work. The game is so clear, but we don't want to sustain our anger. So we'll just buy into it and keep buying our tickets.
And that was one of the things where Tracy, you came across with the $100,000 paid by the owner. There's two folds to that. One, the owner. This is allegedly. I really do want to see what
Yeah,
comes of this.
allegedly, because one
This
got
is
lawsuit money.
no. He sucked rocks. I guarantee. I promise you, he probably did pay the $100,000. The alleged part is that he has a stake in a gambling organization. If that is found to be true, that he did pay or didn't pay, allegedly asked him,
Yeah, he asked
I
him.
will pay you. That's federal.
Well, the
You ain't got to
problem
worry
you
about the
have there,
NFL no more. That's federal charges.
the problem you have there though is, according to what's been said, Flores never took any of the money,
Don't have
No, he
and
to.
he kept
refused
no,
it.
no right.
He
But
don't
there,
have to. He don't have to
no,
take
no,
the
no.
money.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Huh?
There's no paperwork in this type of a deal.
Yep, it's a he said, she
So
said.
if Flores never took the money,
Unless he tipped.
it's he say she say, right? What complicates things though is, if I understood correctly what I heard this morning, some of the other former coaches who have had other owners do a similar thing did take the money, and they're saying this happened and I got receipts. That's where it can get
Yeah,
really,
that's where it
really,
is
really
about to get
bad.
real ugly. That's why I said they're gonna throw him a bunch of money and they're gonna say, here,
They're
we'll
gonna
give you.
bury this in a settlement
Yeah,
with some gag orders, and
yeah,
Well,
he'll
we'll
get
be
a
at next
job in
Sunday's
college,
game.
but he
Oh no,
already
his
said,
career's done.
oh
Oh no,
no,
no.
he'll get some.
If he gets a job anywhere, it'll be coaching college football at an HBCU. Okay, his career
That's
is
still a job.
done.
well, here's the funny thing about it, though.
When you used to be NFL
I
coach,
disagree slightly on
Yeah,
one
I
thing
think
about
there's a college job in his
he'll
future.
he'll go to college, and if he tears up college, they'll bring him back.
Sure will. They
But
bought
listen,
back old
wait
Pete
a minute,
Carroll.
but listen to what I'm saying though. I said tear it up. I
doesn't
he have
matter.
to win some daggone championships, which if those we
But he would be winning HBCU championships, which doesn't have a lot of currency yet. And then two, we keep looking at it as though things like follow a logical order. Well, they no, these do follow a logical order, as if they follow a decent and in order kind of way. Colin Kaepernick was
absolutely
locked
not.
out. Locked out. It didn't matter how good his stats were. It didn't matter how good he stayed in conditioning. It didn't matter each time he came to a tryout that he was a top performer. If they don't want to let you in,
They're not gonna let
let
you
you
in.
in. So he can go to, they could send, hypothetically, they could send him to the University of Tennessee, and he could resurrect that dead program and get them a championship, and he will still never see his butt back in the NFL.
This is
But
the
meanwhile,
issue.
someone like an Urban Meyer can stink it up in the NFL.
And come back to college and
That's what
get a
I'm
job.
saying. This is the issue we're having. Things when I say stuff like that, you thinking I'm thinking they're doing it out of the kindness of their hearts.
They got other
They're not.
options, though.
That
I
I'm
know they don't
not.
do that. They do it for
I'm
money.
saying out of the greediness of their money. And if he burns it up in college, and you have a sucky team, and by the way, minus the Jacksonville Jaguars, because I have absolutely no, you don't care if you suck. So we ain't talking about you.
Yeah.
Other teams. If he blows it up and we find out that he will be able to do the same thing for their team and they can make some money off of it, they will bring him back.
They'll make money off of anybody. That's the problem with the
Yeah.
NFL, because it's an ownership class. It's literally one. It's well, not literally, but it is a vestige of what kind of grew out of the ownership system
Marlon
pre
disappeared again.
of the pre civil rights era. They're an ownership class. They're their own. They're their own like
Yep, they
ecosystem.
make their own rules.
They don't care if they lose a couple seasons. They make money when they lose. They make money when they win.
I.e.
They're
i.e. the owner of Miami saying, "Hey, I'll give you 100,000 just for a
Yeah.
few just a few games." How do you see?
I'll pay
That's
you
my
an extra $800,000
to lose.
just to lose.
That's horrible. But we're gonna move on to my last subject
Oh, I
of
had my
the
hair the way I
evening.
wanted it.
Your hair
And
looks
that
wonderful, sir.
I
is
know it did not.
Way better than mine. So
um.
But
sorry.
you
Dad.
got a beard though.
But you
I'm gonna
have
shave it
one
off.
too.
I can't grow like heels. No,
I'm about to shave mine off.
don't,
Then you look all dramatically different. We was like,
don't
ooh,
do it.
It'll
yeah,
grow
don't.
back. I gotta get another job.
Then what?
Wow, cut the check now. Yes, that's what they're gonna
Yes.
do. But I want to talk about Spotify, Joe Rogan, and all the artists that are. Yes, I do want to talk about this because I think this has got several different facets that I want to talk about.
Whole bunch of
Well,
artists I ain't
Rich
never
white
heard
people
of.
fighting against rich white people.
And then
No,
moving
India Ari, she
Oh,
said that she doesn't want her music on Spotify,
Spotify, yeah,
which
but
is
oh,
hilarious in and of itself because the artists don't even get paid
which
for their
is
music
which
being
is
on
yeah,
there.
they get
fantastic
very.
because all we had to do was check to make sure that Ashley was going to fly before she decided to do that.
That's a good point.
I love India Ari, so I would say nothing bad about her.
Of course you will. No, won't, but I mean, I can deal with her on some level, but not every level. But the thing that trips me out about Joe Rogan,
You like
first of
show
all,
tunes. Of course.
All right.
he's utterly disgusting.
Yes.
Yes.
He gets to bring on these fake
Idiots.
doctors that make me look. I'm like, I used to didn't think I was a smart person. I thought, okay, I'm not dumb rock stupid. But the doctors that he brings on, I'm like, okay, you sir just made me feel a whole lot better about myself because y'all
That's
stupid.
why he makes a lot of money.
I mean,
This is why
He
did
makes
we
a
not
lot of
did we
money.
not talk about this the other day, Theas? When you said, why do these people keep saying things like that? And I said,
I'm like, they
because
can't be
as
this
long
stupid.
as you have social and political illiterate people that this work on, they're going to keep saying it.
But Marlon, I think the thing that made me so sick about him, though, he did this whole video, which I'll talk about later when I take Progressive Queen, where he just gets on there. Oh, I think they should put a disclaimer, and you know what? They paid you $60 million. You try not to lose the check. I don't.
It might be a delayed comment. So
Yeah, that's a delayed comment. But he's like, oh, but you can put. I'm a fan of Neil Young. Okay, first of all, you ain't old enough to be a Neil Young fan. So sit
Why
down.
you like people from? You like Fred Astaire?
Oh my God! Are you
Come on.
He
Come
does
on.
not like Neil Young.
You don't know if he doesn't like Neil Young
I know
because
he
I've never
doesn't.
heard of him.
You okay, Tracy? You really got to be ashamed of yourself now.
I
That is
am not.
right.
You like people who been dead before you were born.
Name one person.
Shirley
Francis.
Temple is probably
Astaire.
like a starlet for you.
First of all, Shirley Temple is awesome. So you're not gonna sit here
There you
and
go.
And I still say he's not a new. It was you could tell by his tone. I'm like, man, you don't mean not one word. You sitting there
His job
saying.
ain't supposed. See, that's just it. When you pay it, it's. Think about who else we made this kind of stupid rich.
Candace Owens.
Oh no, she's different. She's a political figure. But what was the Maury Povich show? Jerry Springer show. Sally Jesse Raphael. All these types of things. Who basically, when I watch you, I either see someone like myself who's getting the opportunity to speak to a famous person, or I see someone whose life is more of a train wreck than mine. So at least I'm better than that person. Joe Rogan delivers that. And for that, that's a lot of eyes. And because there's a lot of eyes, there's a lot of advertising. So then the advertisers are throwing money at Spotify, and Spotify doesn't have too many other people who can do anything on that level. So they're going to keep Joe Rogan because they don't have to agree with him because they always can hide behind. It's just content. We don't agree with 99% of the people who put stuff on.
This is the thing with Rogan.
He's annoying.
No, he's a
comedian.
He's a narcissist.
He's not funny.
He's a narcissistic liar who is right now one step below Tucker Carlson, or at the very least, he's trying to get to Tucker's level. He did a video, a TikTok video, it doesn't matter, where he said, "We're just having conversation on my show. That's all we doing. I don't know what's being said. I have no idea what we're gonna say because we're just holding a conversation.
Yeah, we're just
Dude, it's
holding it.
amazing how that conversation seems to sound like the same one you had last week.
And the
But
But
week
that's how you
before
keep
that,
yourself out of
and the
legal
week
issues.
before that, and the week
but
before that.
whatever, we'll go with that one.
As lawyer said, that's how you keep out of getting sued.
Yeah. Then you turn around and go, black people shouldn't be black because unless you in the deepest parts of Africa or something to that content, we had to come from that continent, basically.
Yeah,
Oh
basically
yeah.
saying we're
To
not
be,
black anymore. That's what
we're
I'm saying.
not black anymore. We have
Oh,
to
and he
come from
also
that
has
continent.
a person on his show who said because his great grandmother is black, he can use the N word and get away with it. I'm
But
like,
see, this is all part of the problem.
That's the
We're
game.
giving him some level of credibility. Why would we even be outraged at anything that man says?
And,
Anything at all?
and I'm not anymore. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not there
I
At
yet.
mean,
a
I
we
want to be
certain,
as in
there.
like broader,
you know, no.
broader we.
At
And
a
like,
certain point, you have to
I
look
want.
at the team that. Ooh, you are far behind, Susan.
that's just when Tracy hitting the button.
No, that
Yeah,
just goes
I'm
up.
just slow with it. I'm like, okay, but
The when you get to a certain level, there are people who we really need to stop getting mad at because we pretty much know exactly what they are. Now, I can play it and you can play their videos and everything else because of what they are to us. Entertainment now. You're not newsworthy. You're not a journalist at any level. You're entertainment to me. You're funny to me. I am going to make fun of you.
Well, I'll take it a step further than that, Marlon. It's like if it can be shown, because remember, Joe Rogan is all about he's an entertainer. That's what he is.
Mhm.
So this is his shtick. So if he's able to offend black people, offend um, liberals and progressives, that's not his target audience anyway. And his target audience loves when you offend those people. So the fact that we even pay attention to him offending us makes him more money.
and I want
Because
to,
look at
yeah.
how these liberals are losing their mind.
But it's still, I'm not to where you're at yet because it infuriates me, and I'm like, I wish I could get there, but I'm not. But I want to look at Anna's point because this is so true. When he has that big of an audience, and his audience is huge, huge audience, and you hear some of the things that they're touting, like he's not a scientist, he's not a doctor, he's not a anything. But when
And
you
neither was
hear,
Trump.
But you have the money to bring a scientist on. You have the money to
yeah,
bring a
but
doctor
still,
on. You have
people.
the money to bring people on who knows what the heck you're doing. Yet you decide to bring a doctor on who's a doctor in her herbal medicine.
Or
Yeah,
even one better, you are actually bringing people who have a title that reinforce what I already choose to believe.
yeah. But that's really because
And
my
then,
thing is
and then
how
argue
do we
with you when you get
educate?
some back.
But how do we educate? And I think this will be the last thought because the show is about to end. But how do we educate people when you know what they're saying is wrong? You hear it and you like, dude,
You
you're
gotta
You
wrong.
have to find people who want to be educated first of
exactly.
all.
Well,
You
yeah,
gotta
that's
stop
true.
trying to save people who don't want to be saved. I mean,
Is
like, if their
yeah.
intention, if their intention is to offend you, there is no educating them. Odds are they know what you know. But they're gonna have fun
Yeah,
watching you try to pretend like you can change their mind.
and that's what makes me so mad. I'm just
Stop
not
trying to
there.
save people who don't want to be
Stop
saved. They're
just
not in
I'm
stop trying
not
danger.
to.
there yet. I'm
They're
trying
not
to
I
in
get.
can
danger. They're just
I
fine.
cannot care for you more than you care for yourself. I
I
it's
can't care for you more than you care for me. So we at the base level, you got to at least acknowledge my humanity. If we ain't got that, what? That's why y'all
Yeah,
heard me say it before. I don't care if a person is racist. I think that a person has the right to be racist. I think a person should be able to go and hang out with their friends and say the N word all day long and say the K word all day long and say all that. I don't care. Be racist. Do you, boo boo. Have a good time with that. Okay. The only time it's a problem is when you take your racism and put it towards action. Because as Martin Luther King, and I'm kind of going to butcher this a little bit, but it's like I can't legislate your morality, but I can legislate your behavior. I don't care if you want to hang me. My problem is if you hang me.
Yep, that's true. And everybody, last thought before we head into the after party and Patreon, you all have the link. I'm going to be heading there in a few seconds. But February is my second favorite month out of the year because this month is Black History Month. And I know some people like Black History every day, and that is absolutely true. We should celebrate Black history every single day. However, because February was designated by the founder, what was originally Black History Week. And the reason that he said it was Black History Week because he wanted to honor two of the people who he admired. Abraham Lincoln, who was really for slavery, but we're not going to get into that, and Frederick Douglass.
He just didn't care.
Yeah, he just didn't care. But that's why he chose February. So I'm going to be doing on Progressive Queens, I'm going to be highlighting.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. You chose February for Black History Month to celebrate a white man.
And Frederick Douglass. Because they were both born in the month of February.
And they were integral to the abolitionist movement.
Regardless
of what their motivations were.
Yeah. Now, you're not going to badmouth Frederick Douglass.
Like
Frederick Douglass,
John Brown, right? That was abolitionist. It's like, I kill my son if you ain't going to stand with me. That's an ally.
Yeah, but this month is really special to me. I will be highlighting people on all my podcasts who have made not this one, but starting the week after next, highlighting people who have made significant contributions to Black History Month. And I'm going to throw in some people you may not know. So tune into that. Remember to do as Anna said, like this video, share this video, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course support us on Patreon. We'll see you in 2 weeks, not next week the 10th, but we'll see you the week of February the 17th. Have a great day, great evening, everybody. Finally,
hey, Tracy?
Yes, sir.
Can you make sure OJ is in there? Because, that way we can
see what we're going to do is have you to tell us where we can find you. And we're going to just ignore that.
Have we already talked about Bill Cosby?
Well, y'all please tell people where y'all can find before y'all cut y'all off. Marlon, tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, Marlon, go forward. Yeah.
You can find me Saturday Night Vibes every Saturday at 9 p.m. on every platform. Not every platform, YouTube and Facebook. You can find me at Radical Truth of Power every Sunday at 9 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. And you can find our information on every platform.
Yes.
You can find me on complexsimpleman.com. And also you can find links to these two wonderful people's YouTube channels on there as well. So complexsimpleman.com. Thank you.
Guys, we're headed towards the after party where we're going to be discussing the Addams Family versus the Munsters. I'll see you there in 2 minutes. Have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you February the 17th.